Good morning. My name is Sarah, and I work for Monterey County Free Libraries as the Adult Literacy and Volunteer Services Manager. And we are here today to get back to the basics in yoga. So we will do about 5 poses that are all basic ones. I like to come back to the basics in the fall, and perhaps linking the breath with the movement will make us feel a little less anxious. All right, so I have my trusty cushiony blanket here. I have folded it, and I'm going to put it underneath my hips. You can do the same. You can use a block, you can use a towel, or perhaps you're comfortable directly on your hips. I'm into comfort for the fall. So I have my legs in what we used to call crisscross applesauce, and I will try and change them up halfway through. Remind me if I don't. All right, so from here, we'll just come into the body, come into the moment, perhaps closing the eyes and thinking about the breath, maybe just noticing it, not necessarily controlling it yet, just finding where is it starting and where is it ending right now. Wiggling a little into feeling really comfortable, maybe placing the hands face down on the knees. And now that we've found sort of the ends and the beginnings of the breath, perhaps we can lengthen the inhale a bit so that we're breathing deeper down into the belly button and feeling the expanse of the belly. The hum of my refrigerator is very nice. It's creating an ambiance. Now that we've lengthened the inhale a little bit, let's lengthen the exhale, maybe trying to find them equal. So if you want to count off, you can inhale for 3, and at the top, exhale for those same 3. 1, 2, 3, inhaling. 1, 2, 3, exhaling. And I promised I would change my legs, so I'm going to change up the position of the legs. The opposite leg is now on top. And we'll do 3 more breaths here. I'm going to come back into my hips because it shifts them a little bit when you change one on the top from the other. And now we'll do 3 more breaths with the deep 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 2, 3, exhale. 1, 2, feeling the expanse in the belly, and then feeling the belly kind of go down as you exhale. Last one. 2, 3, inhale. 2, 3, exhale. And from here, we can do some shoulder rolls. We got comfortable there. I can hear all the little cricks in my shoulders, a little bit in my neck, but bringing some expanse to the upper body, which often hunches forward over our computers. So, and then going the other way, which is the uncomfortable way for me. Keep that breath up. Okay, so now we've brought some awareness to the shoulders and the breath. And from here, I'm going to come sideways on the mat, and I'm going to scooch a little. I'm staying on my soft lift here, and you can see my spooky skeletonish leggings. And from here, we'll come into a forward fold. So extending the right leg and the left leg, maybe even pulling the toes back a little bit. And walking into your seat, and then lifting up and forward fold. Now you don't have to touch the toes here. You can just bring the legs to the shins, move the shoulders away from the ears, and feeling a stretch through the back of the legs here. Maybe a little bit back here as well. Don't crunch in like this, just long spine and reaching forward and down. And we'll hold this for just another 2, 3 breaths. Feeling a nice stretch on the backs of the legs and the lower back. Noticing maybe the resistance at the waist for the breath. And coming back up. And now the fun part is shaking out the knees. And then we'll lift up and we'll do it again. Lifting up through the rib cage and reaching forward with the arms until you feel stretchy here. Little ease in the knee, no hyperextension, never hyperextension. On the next inhale, we'll lift up and then arms down, and we'll find another position. Excellent. So from here, we are going to come into a tabletop position. I have my padding here for my knees, and my knees are going to be hip width, and the hands are going to be spread wide and come below the shoulders. Slight bend in the elbow. You know how I am about the hyperextension there. And coming into our tabletop, we'll wiggle into it and feel comfortable. And then we will inhale, lifting the head and dropping the belly and spreading wide across the collarbones. And exhale, lifting up, pulling up into a cat, a Halloween kitty. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. And we'll do this a few times to the rhythm of our breath. This is an excellent basic, and I come back to it all the time and I forget how great it feels. Inhale. Okay, this is our last exhale. Come back to neutral. And then from here, if you'd like to take a little rest, spreading the knees and bringing the hips back, I would leave the hands stretched out in front so you can have a stretch in the rib cage, the hips, the back, and that nice secure feeling of resting the forehead on the floor or on a block or on a book. A few deep breaths here. I hope you can hear me. I'm talking into the floor. My, how I love child's pose. All right, so we'll come back to the tabletop. So close up the knees a little bit, bring them back to hip width. Hands again spread wide below the shoulders, and we'll do 2 more. Cat cows, closing into the cat and exhaling, lifting up in the spine, opening, stretching across the collarbones, and lifting the hips. Exhale. One last inhale, and from here, we'll tuck those toes and make sure all of the fingers in the hands have weight in them. Slight bend in those elbows and pushing up in the toes and lifting into the ever-loved downward dog. From here, we'll make sure that the feet are hip width again. Maybe pedal them out a little bit. It's tough to go from bended to straight, so feel free to wiggle around in the back and to keep a deep bend in the knees until you feel more and more comfortable letting it out. Check the elbows too, make sure those are slightly bent. Spreading wide in the fingers and lifting those hips. Finding suppleness in the neck and breathing deeply into the lifted diaphragm. We'll have 3 breaths here. Inhale, feeling the expansion of the ribs, the expansion of those lungs, and exhaling out. That neck is loose, elbows are bent, knees are slightly bent. And on the next exhale, we'll walk the feet towards the hands. Again, notice a very deep bend here in the knees as I walked forward. From here, letting it go little by little. Hands may touch the floor or not. They can come to calves, shins. They can come behind the thighs. Anything that's comfortable. And now let the head again point towards the ground. It's a little bit harder to breathe now that we closed up that belly, but still it feels good. Supple neck, and we're in a nice forward fold. Feet below knees, below hips, so they're hip width apart. You can check here. Do you have 2 fists between your feet? That should be about right. And inhaling and exhaling, and then pressing down into the balls of the feet and slowly beginning to lift up, vertebrae by vertebrae. All right, thank you. I'm glad we met each other at sitting. I am preparing my blanket for the last few minutes of yoga, and I'm placing it under my hips, which I have my legs again crossed in semi-lotus, not really lotus pose. And from here, I am going to bring the shoulders back and down, knitting the ribs. That's always a good thing to keep a strong core and to keep the breath coming in a long way here. Just several breaths to close out the class. It might look like I'm leaning against the wall, but I'm not. So thank you very much for joining me today for Back to Basics. 2 deep breaths, maybe the eyes closed, maybe giving thanks to your body for doing what you asked it to, and for giving yourself a few minutes on this Sunday just to not take care of to-dos. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you in November.